Hello and welcome. This is Lynn Madijan from Madijan's Herbals, and we are in the last week of 2020. So I want to hope that you all had a wonderful Christmas and Yule season. I did. It was very nice. It was kind of quiet. Didn't get some of the things that I wanted done around the house, but that's okay. It was in a relaxing time and I had a good time. What I think I'm going to do this week is kind of wrap up 2020. So tonight what we're going to do is I'm going to do a year-long card reading for the year 2021. See what's coming up for the next 12 months. So these will be generic cards for the year rather than for any individual person, but kind of give us a little bit of an idea what to expect. Tomorrow is the full moon, and so at 6 o'clock we'll be doing the final full moon of 2020 and closing the door on that and opening up the door for the new year. And on Wednesday's Wisdom from Gran, what we're going to do is make wishing candles. So for the wishing candles, you're going to need a jar candle and pictures of what you want to manifest for the 2021 year. I find for me, resolutions don't work real good. I work really hard on them for about a month and then I taper off. But making instead a manifesting candle, I think that, excuse me, that helps me keep my goals in mind. What is it that I want for this time? So that's what we're going to do. Now, if you don't have a jar candle and you have a jar, like this one, you can actually put a candle inside your jar and put your pictures on the outside. So you're going to want pictures and words of things that you want to manifest. You can get these pictures out of magazines. You can get them off of Pinterest and print them out. You can draw them on the glass just so that you can see again what it is that you are wanting to manifest for this year. So that's the plan for the next 3 days, and I hope that you'll join me at each one of these. So we're going to use my regular deck of cards here, and we're going to put out a circle of the year, which is a card for each month of 2021. It is going to give you what the focus of each month will be. Now, each focus can be stronger or weaker for you, but you should be able to see the focus for each month. Now, what I typically do is I get my calendar, and I'll probably do this after we're done here. I get my calendar, and I write for each month what is the focus, and I put a few keywords into there to help me, because I'll tell you what, there is no way in this lifetime that I am going to remember in a week what the focus was for June. And so this way, since I put it on my calendar, I can look at it each month and see what the focus is and see how that needs to affect my decisions and my life. Okay, so the January card, is the Tower. The February card is the Knight of Wands. The March card is the Ace of Cups. April, the April card is the Knight of Cups. January, February, March, April, May. The May card is the Seven of Swords. The June, February, March, April, May, June. The June card is the Seven of Cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The July card is the Moon. August card is the Queen of Wands. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. September is the Emperor. The October card is the Sun. The November card is the Nine of Wands. And the December card is the King of Cups. Okay, so going back to January, what can we expect for January? For January, the Tower card, which is this one right here, talks about change. It talks about cataclysmic change, not catastrophic change. So while there should still be big changes in what to expect in our social lives and our economic lives, they shouldn't be catastrophic. Okay, so things should calm down a little bit from what they have been. And what you're going to see is change, but change that you can manage and handle. In February, what you're going to see is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, the Knight in this deck is the worker in the court family. You've got the Page, who is the apprentice, who will grow up to be a knight, but doesn't have the experiences and the knowledge yet. You've got the Queen and the King who are the directors. I want that castle over there. And you've got the Knight who goes and gets the castle. So the Knight is the worker. Now, Wands talk about your passions. What makes you uniquely you? What makes you get up in the morning? And what keeps you going forward one step at a time? And so this card is telling you in February you need to be looking at what you're doing, and you need to determine, is this what you really want to be doing, or do you want to be doing something different? And if it's something different that is going to give life to your soul, then the question is, how can you put that to work for you? Now, sometimes that means that is a hobby that we have to work a regular job to pay for that hobby. Or sometimes it's creating work in the area of your passion. You need to look and see what is going to work for you to do that. Now in March, we have the Ace of Cups. Cups talks about relationships, and it talks about intuition. Now we have relationships with absolutely everybody. We have relationships with our family. We have relationships with our sweetheart. We have relationships with our work people, our work buddies, and with the people at the grocery store that you see frequently as you go down there. And this is new beginnings in your relationship. Now, to build on the last card, if you are opening up new roads to your passion, that is going to open up new relationships to people who have the same passion as you and who also have the ability to lift you up and support you while you are doing the same for them, lifting them up and supporting them. And so look at, right now, all of our relationships have changed, and we have a lot more online relationships than in-person relationships. I think by the time we hit March, you're going to be meeting other people. Now, it could be, again, it could be some online and some in person, but it is going to be people that are going to support you in your in your field of interest. Now, April is the Knight of Cups, so that's the April card. Okay, so again, we talked about the Knight being the worker bee. So you've opened the door with the Knight of Wands to become your true, authentic self. That is going to bring to you new people that are going to be of like mind in March. And in April, you need to still continue to do the work to continue moving forward in your passions and making yourself your true, authentic self. In May, you have got the Seven of Swords. Okay? Now, the Seven of Swords is the strategy card. As you can see in this card, he has 5 swords in his hands, and he has left 2 swords back here in the ground where he's leaving them for somebody else. Swords talk about thoughts and thought processes, and we all have destructive thoughts and thought processes, the negative ones. We also have the positive ones that say, no, I can do this. We can get it going, and it's going to work for us. It may be different than what everybody else looks like, but that doesn't matter as long as we get to do it, and we can get it, the end result that we want. And this card is telling you that here in May, January, February, March, April, May, here in May, you need to start looking at what you're doing. So you need to look back at this Knight of Cups and say, which actions that I am taking, which of those are furthering me in my goal, and which of them are not getting me any further? Which of them is a waste of my time, or which of them is actually not beneficial to what I want to do? And those thoughts that are not beneficial and that no longer serve you, you need to let go of. And continue thinking about moving forward. Because in June, I have a hard time keeping up with the month. January, February, March, April, May, June. So in June, you've got another Cups, which is relationships again. Now, the Seven of Cups talks about opportunities. It's very hard to put 7 opportunities in a juggling thing and keep them all in the air. Once you drop one of those opportunities, it's broken, and you may not have the ability to come back to it. But what you can do is, if you lay it down, you look at all the opportunities that are being presented to you, and you look to see which ones are going to get me further faster, or which ones may be slowing me down but will give me more information and more experience so that I can go further and faster. The ones that are the least productive, lay them down. You can pick them up later if you decide to do that, and if you haven't burned that bridge. But as part of the strategy card, you need to continue strategizing. How am I going to get further with what I want to do? Now, August is the moon. So I don't know if you know Jo Lee Cleary, but if you know Jo Lee Cleary, doesn't that look like her? And that amazes me how much that looks like her. And I love getting this card. Now, the moon card talks about looking at things in a full circle, okay? In the sunlight and in the moonlight. Looking at how you affect the situation, and then how the situation will affect you. You have to look at the whole thing. We don't tend to do that. We tend to look at it one way or the other, and we don't always follow through with the other side to that. And I can give you an example of that. The name of the shop, Mahjong Herbals. That's my last name. Now, the reason that I chose that name for the shop is because 40 years ago, I was very active in North Everett with all of the children's activities. So if you had a child in North Everett that now is anywhere from 38 to 42, 44, it is more than likely you were in some kind of children's activity that I was directly involved with. So a lot of people, because Mahjong is an odd name, a lot of people, once they got that name, they remembered it, and I would see them periodically in the streets, and they would say, "Hey, aren't you?" And I would say yes. So my thought was, when I opened up the shop, somebody walking down the road would look at the name of the shop and say, "Hey, I know her." And it worked. My 44-year-old son's 5th grade teacher came in and said, "You probably don't recognize me." And I looked at him and I said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "I know exactly who you are." I said, "You know, you're a teacher from Garfield Elementary." I told him his name. And I said, "You had my son in 5th grade." And he was amazed. But it shows you that the thought process that I had worked. It brought people in. And it still to this day does. Matter of fact, last week, somebody came in and said to me, I know somebody with the last name of Madashan, and it ended up being my granddaughter. So the name still brings, 8 years later, still brings a draw in. What I didn't think of was when my friends told their friends, and their friends told their friends, and as the circle got bigger, that then all of a sudden the name would be known for the shop and not me. And so now what happens is somebody will introduce me, and the comment will be, "Are you the shop?" And it is, and that's great, because yes, I am the shop, and that works well. But I have children and grandchildren with my same last name that don't necessarily follow the same path that I do, that are asked the same question: "Are you the store?" And my kids are great in terms of they are very proud of me. They're very proud of the store. But I can see that some reactions sometimes aren't positive, and I don't think that they have received any of those not positive reactions, but I also don't know that they would tell me if they did. So you have to look at the whole circle, the whole sunlight and moonlight, because if you don't, you can be surprised by what comes up and bites you in the back. And I will tell you, at this point in time, this is one of my guiding cards, is like, okay, I need to look at the whole picture. So in September, we've got the Queen of Wands. Now, we all have King and Queen energy in our bodies, and we use them situationally. The Queen energy is more of a negotiating, win-win energy. If you clean your bedroom, I'll do your laundry, but I'm not going to come into your bedroom and pick up your dirty laundry. Win-win. Nobody does all the work, but the work gets done. I mean, that's optimum. Now, the King energy is more direct. It's more of a do it now. So the King would come behind the Queen and say, the Queen told you to clean your bedroom, and you didn't, and so now I'm going to clean your bedroom, and here's the great big black garbage sack that, is for the outside garbage cans, and I am going to pick everything up on your floor and throw it in that, and you've just lost it because you don't care for it anymore, and you're not doing what you're told. Now, always which of those energies is going to get you the end result that you're looking for. Sometimes you have no choice but to come in like a bulldozer. And what are you thinking? Stop doing it now. Sometimes you have to come in like Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn and oh, wow, painting this fence is so much fun. And that's where you're going to win. Pay attention to what kind of energies you're using and what kind of response you're getting. And just make a note of that so you know how to better position yourself in the future. Now, the Queen of Wands, the wands we talked about, if you remember, are talking about your passions and your true authentic self. And she is Superwoman, okay? She can be anything, she can do anything, and she can have anything because she is willing to work for it. And she's not willing to step over bodies in order to get where she's doing it. She's going to do it in a negotiating manner so that everybody is a win. She is very charismatic, and she's very magical. And if you look at what we're doing right now, which I find very interesting, is we've got changes, and then we talk about moving forward in your passions and how that's going to affect the people that you are resulted with, how you need to change your thought processes to be successful, that you're having opportunities, but pay attention to those opportunities to figure out which ones are going to help. And then this August is an encouragement card. You can do it. Follow the steps and you'll get there. September is the Emperor. And so this is the third major arcana that we've had. January, August, July. January, July, and September are major arcanas, which are soul paths. And the Emperor is the highest physical male energy in the minor arcana. Kings report to emperors. So this emperor is telling you that you had the card for August that was you can do it, but the next card in September reminds you that you have to be the driver, that you can't allow somebody else to keep moving you forward. You have to be the one, because in this thing of life to become your true authentic self, the only person that can do that is you. And so we need to remind you here again, at this point in time, which is September, that you need to be the driver. October, the card is the fourth major arcana, and it is the sun. So that is growth and happiness and joy, and you're going to be seeing progress, and keep working. November is the Nine of Wands. Now, again, the Nine of Wands is the wands talk about your passion. The 9 is the 8 and the 9 are manifesting cards. Okay, so the 8 is you better have your plan in place, because what you want to manifest for the next year, you need to have a list. You need to know what steps you need to take. You need to tell the universe what it is that you want. And for the 9 of Wands, manifesting this growth to continue to grow into 2022 is what you need to do. Garth Brooks has a song out. I have no idea what the name of the song is. I only think I ever heard it once. But what it says in the chorus is, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to know when you get there? The Cheshire Cat tells Alice in Wonderland at the crossroads, when she asks him, which way do I go? He says to her, where do you want to be? She says, I don't know. And then he says, then it doesn't matter. And that's absolutely true. So this is November. You've got all of the year up to November, which is 11 months, to figure out what this plan is. You're going to start it in February, and make sure that you keep a journal or you keep something with your steps in it. How are you going to get there? Now, the best way, the easiest way to do that is back here as the knight. Determine what it is you want, and then reverse engineer it to where you are today, and then you know what step you have to take each time. And that helps you decide on the opportunities. Well, is this opportunity going to feed my goal, or is this opportunity going to starve my goal? Think about that throughout the whole year, okay? So December of 2021, you have the King of Cups, which means you have to take more direct energy during December. Cups talks about relationships, and it talks about intuition. Now, we've had 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth cup that's in here, talking about relationships and your passions. And this is reminding you that if there are relationships that are no longer serving you, if they are no longer helping you and encouraging you, then you need to open up that spot to let somebody come in that is of like mind, that will do that, that will get you on the path and keep you on the path where it is that you need to go. It also is a reminder for intuition. Your gut is not going to lead you astray. Okay, if you listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, it is going to help you make better decisions. Now, the shadow card for this reading is the Three of Wands. Now, this card to me is the active waiting card. Okay, so if you look here, there's a ship here in the water, and he's on the cliffs watching the ship come in. Now, when that ship comes in, if that's his ship, he had better have all of his act together, because when the ship comes in, he's going to need longshoremen to unload the ship. He is going to need a warehouse to put whatever he shipped in that ship in for safekeeping. He's going to need vendors and customers to sell what it is that he's got so that he can make more money and send out another ship. So all of those steps have to be in place. So if you look at your November card, which is the Nine of Wands, manifesting what it is you want, you have to know how to get there. And you have to then, in turn, also take those steps. What skills do you need that you don't have in order to manifest this situation? Do you need to take some classes? Do you need to read some books? Do you need to volunteer someplace so that you can make contacts with other people and also get experience in the line of work that you've chosen? So this card reminds us that January is the beginning of the whole year, and it needs to work throughout the year in order for you to get the manifesting that you want done. All in all, that sounds to me like a pretty positive look forward to the year. It's not going to change like a light switch, okay? It's not going to be 2020's gone, boom. The COVID is gone and the economy is back to normal. It's going to be a journey, just like this calendar of the wheel. It is going to be a journey, but if you approach that journey with hope and with a plan, you're going to be in a whole lot better shape than if you're just flotsam on the wind, blowing hither and yon. So, if you have any questions, I'm going to leave this up on my table so I can look at it. Go ahead and shoot me a question here, and I'll be happy to respond to it. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow for the full moon. I don't know if you looked at it tonight. I was looking at it at about 4 o'clock. Beautiful new moon. It was silver and just gorgeous. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and take care of yourself. Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.